Hey guys, Buddy W Hunting Supply here. I'm just going through some steps on the eSeek training or hound tracking system. We've had a lot of people ask us to do a review on this, and so I'm dusting off some old equipment that I've had in the shop, and I'm just going through and taking a good deep look at this device. I want to show you my setup. Follow me over here. I'll explain what we got set up here. This video is going to be a little bit longer. I apologize. I'm geeking out a little bit. I'll try to explain it the best I can. I got two collars hanging here, just as a standby. I got a Garmin collar, and this is my reference. I know what this collar is doing. I know where it's at, so I can kind of get a good idea for the ballpark. And then I also have the eSeek collar, which is right next to it. So I'm trying to keep these as equal as possible. And what this device over here, this cool old looking 1980s device or whatever, I don't know how old this is. It's called a spectrum analyzer. So this spectrum analyzer is basically listening to the airwaves and measuring signals coming into the airwaves. So I'm going to try my best to show you how this thing sets up, and you can kind of take a look for yourself and you can see what's happening right now. So I'm going to listen for frequencies. I click frequency here. My start frequency I got set down here to 133 megahertz. I'm going to dial that to 140. Garmin should transmit about 151. So I'm going to say 140. My stop frequency, I got it set for I can go down to maybe 170. So what I'm setting this device up to do right now is I'm saying, just look at every frequency that comes into this range between 140 and 170 megahertz. So between those channels, I'm listening for any radio signal. I come here to trace, and you can see right here, if you watch the screen, you zoomed in, if you watch the screen, you can see these little lines. Those are radio signals coming in. And so if I hit max hold, what that does is it tells me to leave it on the screen and add the song. So you see two of them right here. Actually, this is interesting. The Garmin one come in a little bit low, and it's getting reinforced. So actually, it's up to the same distance now. I'm going to hit clear on that one more time. I'm going to watch that one more time. So you can see there's the eSeek. It's actually strong. We're going to watch Garmin's come in here. It's kind of interesting. I didn't see this earlier, but Garmin's is so this small one's coming out of the eSeek. I don't know what that signal is. This is Garmin's signal here, and you can see that actually they are both the same. Maybe one transmission on Garmin was weak, but we're seeing the signal strength of the two collars come in close to the same. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, but I'm going to show you if I go to peak search and I go over here. Oh, no. Dang it. I messed it up. Okay. I got to go. I clicked the wrong button here. So frequency, start frequency. Let me set my 170. I'm actually going to go right 147. Stop frequency. Let's go 170. This is why you got to do it right. So now I want to go trace, clear the trace, rehold it. So now I'm back. It's going to do what I want it to do. So there's the eSeek collar. Should see our Garmin collar show up. So there's our Garmin collar. So now I've measured the airwaves, and I'm just letting this device collect a couple of those signals. So while I'm talking to you, every time it does it, it reinforces it, and it just takes another measurement and adds them together. So it kind of averages all the signals together. So with that said, now I want to look at, let me touch my mic here. I want to look at the where these signals are. So if I say next peak left, I can go to the first one. Let's talk about this one first. If you look up in the upper corner here, this little diamond is my marker. And you can see right here, it says marker 151.88. I don't know if you can read that right now, but 151.88, negative 21 dB, which is kind of the power that it's coming out of. I can't explain the power as far as measuring. It's over my head, but basically I'm gotten 21 dB power. The important thing here is 151.88 megahertz. That is the frequency that the Garmin is transmitting on. So that tells me that my system is working, everything's doing as I expect. Now I want to go look at the eSeek. So I'm going to switch over, and I say next peak to the right. Actually, let's look at this bottom one really quick. I got this little one here. It's a little signal. It's on 154.570. It's a really low power signal. So I don't know if that's a a Bluetooth. I don't know what that's doing, but that caller is sending out two signals. It's sending out a little short blurb, and then it's also sending out a big blurb. Hey guys, one thing I was thinking about as I'm going through the editing process, and I don't want to reshoot the whole video. I was talking about I had a small signal there, and I said it was coming from the eSeek caller. The more I think about it, the more I'm kind of believing that that signal was probably coming from outside the building and coming from another radio or some type of communication outside the building. I'll look a little bit more. I don't know what that was. I wasn't worried about it during the video, but I did mention that it came from the eSeek. And I just want to be clear. I bet that signal was actually coming from outside the building and was unrelated to either Garmin caller or the eSeek caller. Like I said, it was a low signal. And so anyways, I just want to put a little edit in there, and we'll continue on with the video here. I'm more interested in the big one because that's the one that I'm sure that they're using for tracking. So let's look at the big one. 162.22 megahertz. So that tells me that this caller is transmitting on 162.22 megahertz right now. I'm going to zoom in on that, and we're going to take a little closer look at that signal. So I'm going to go frequency. I'm going to change my start frequency. Since it's at 162, let's start listening at like 161.5. So I'm going to change this, and we're going to watch this zoom in. So my start frequency up here, 154, 161.2. Let's go 161.5. So I got a little bit of a quiet listening before the start. Now if I change my stop frequency, I'm going to do the same thing, and we're going to zoom in on that, and I'm going to just dial that out and see where it stops transmitting. 164 megahertz right here. I can see that. Make sense? So now I'm zooming into that area. So now if I go to trace, I want to clear this. So now I'm going to say max hold. So I'm listening with a really focused look on this to see what this thing is doing here. So let's just watch it for a second. You can see it's transmitting. It's got a really wide transmission. And so right now it's transmitting. It's shifting just a little bit of frequency every time it transmits, which is interesting. So it's like it's moving just a little bit. And it's probably in the logic, just a different way of transmitting. So probably a digital transmission of some sort. And so we're picking up a little wider transmission. It's sending a little data pack instead of a whatever. So anyways, okay. So now I got a few of those. I can say peak search. And so now I can look at it and go, okay, I'm starting at about 162.150. And the last, what am I doing? I'm changing my stop again. Dang it. Let me zoom in on this because I messed up. This is why I don't do this anymore. So let's zoom this in. I want to take a really wide look at this. Stop frequency, zoom in, go back to trace, clear, max hold. There we go. Helps when you get the settings right. So you can see that it's sending a couple different signals across a couple different frequencies. Peak search. So I got one transmission, 162 right here in the corner, 137 megahertz. The next peak to the right is 162.158. The next peak to the right, 162.167. Let me go all the way. So it's got these little peaks that it's transmitting a little bit different frequency every time. It seems like it stops about 162.369. So 370. So 162 peak. 162.131 is the first time we're really seeing this device transmit. And then at the end, it transmits a little bit different, but 162.360 is kind of the end of the transmission. So I need to do some research. We need to take a look at what these frequencies are. I know the NOAA radio channels are like 162.400, I think. Was talking with Mike Foster here, who used to be the Coast Guard. We were seeing some 162 at .250 was used for some sort of rescue beacon, like some type of Coast Guard signaling. So those early frequencies could be like getting in the Coast Guard range. The later frequencies could be in the NOAA radio range. I don't quite fully understand what this is or what they're doing, but it tells me that they're trying to slide in between the different radios. So with that said, this is probably enough that makes it where we won't sell it. You know, it's not. One of my concerns was what frequency is this thing coming on. I'm going to continue to test it. I want to continue to play with it and try to take a look at it and see if there's any value to learn from this. But I can tell you right now, just what I'm seeing here with this device, that I'm not comfortable selling it right now. So W is not going to sell this item. I'll keep playing with it. I'll put it through some tests and ringers, try and do some distance tests, try to see what I can do safely. But there you have it. Little geek 101 with the old Spectrum analyzer. I had to dust off. I forgot how to work it. I still don't know how to work it, but it was fun. For old time's sakes, it was fun. We're going to go with it. So stay tuned. We'll do the next one. But there's your frequency analyzing on the new eSeek caller. Hey guys, one of the questions was just asked as we shut that last video off, which was what happens when you press the button and what does the signal look like from the handheld? So I thought, you know what? That's a great thing to talk about next, which would be our training commands. So the first thing I'm going to look at is, let's zoom in on the eSeek. I'm going to zoom in on the signal for the eSeek. 160, just 163 for the stop frequency. Trace, clear. I actually know what I'm doing now. This is the caller transmitting. I moved it here because I don't care about the power right now. I'm mostly just looking at the signal. So it's going to be a little bit louder now because the callers are close to the antenna. But what I really want to do is see what happens when I push the button. On the eSeek, it looks like it just right there in the same. If I hit clear, you know what? You can see that it's just sending those signals, normal, max. Okay, so yeah, it basically is just shooting a signal. If I go peak, it's right there at 162, 240, 162, 162, 240, like so. So 162 megahertz, 240. This is sending the same signal that's reading out. Let's take a look at the Garmin for comparison. So I'm going to go start frequency. I need to go all the way down to 150. Oh, let's go 149. And then stop frequency, let's zoom in till 154, because Garmin has a couple channels in the 154 range and a couple channels in the 150 somewhere range. So this way, in case whatever caller this is on, I don't know what channel this is on, but so now that's the caller. I'm going to go trace, clear, max. I still have the caller in there, but there we go. Let's zoom in on that a little bit. So, frequency, start. Let's dial that in, stop frequency. I want to look at this a little bit. I seen something that was interesting. Yep, there we go. So, same. You have a little bit of spikes in and out of this. This is kind of interesting. So, I don't know what those spikes are. It could be something related to the listen speak problem. So anyways, I got two things here. I'm going to show you the response. One of the things I'm noticing on these is the response time. So when I press the eSeek, and I think you can hear it because we got a microphone up there. If I press it, it doesn't go. When I let go of it, it hits, right? It's a little bit slow. So I got to press and release the button to get the stem command. On the Garmin, as soon as I press the button, it goes. As soon as I release the button, it stops. So if I hold the button down, it keeps going, and it stays on until I let the button go. Very responsive. This one, if I press and hold, nothing. Let go. Press and hold, nothing. Now I did notice a little bit different. So it acts a little bit different if I go to the map page and I click on this little button right here, which is the tone. It seems like if I hold it for a second, it holds there. And so if I hold it down, it was going. I let go, it goes again. So there's like a little bit of a delay here when you're doing a training. Press and hold, nothing. Keep, release it, then it goes on. So that's there. So if I do a side-by-side comparison where I'm going to say press, release, you can just see that the Garmin is just much responsive. I can give it one little beat. Just, hey, stop that. Right. That. If I want to say one little beat for this dog, that dog is getting a very stern correction. I don't know if it's doing that on the stem. We'll take the next dive we're going to look at would be putting measurements on the collars itself and measuring the stem. I would hope that if I do this, a quick little tap when I'm on stem, I would hope it's still not shocking my dog after, what is that? 1001, 1002, 1003. 3 seconds of sending a stem after I've released the button is way too long in my opinion. So I don't like that at all. I don't think people who use training is going to like that. That's it's just, I won't say unacceptable, but that would be very frustrating. Anyways, all right, that's the next one. The next one we'll do is we want to check a look at the actual stem levels, because yesterday we were messing around and the stem levels appear to be much stronger than Garmin. So I'm going to try and find a way to measure that and show you guys. I got little lights here. We'll do that. But again, the delay, like press and release, still going. I've let the thing down. Like that. Press and release on the Garmin. Done. Like just one little beep. That's all I get. So you can't do that. You can't give one little beep on the device. It's 3 devices, a pause, and then another 3 devices. Like that's crazy in my opinion.